And I just felt like a disturbance in the force. Like, somebody's really butthurt about not being the most popular comic in comedy. It also, like, to be fair, I'm the only one who gets paid in actual money because I'm on the clock. They all just get paid in wine that I steal anyway, so it's So, all right, well, everybody, thank you guys once again for coming to our fifth and unfortunately last comedy night here at Costantino. Round of applause. How many of you guys have been to more than one comedy night? Oh, gosh.
Now you know why.
Yeah, no, well, the problem here is, like, I was just going to recycle a bunch of old jokes, but now that you guys have heard them. So, Dan, instead of that 12 minutes, I told you I'm now going to do, like, 3.5. Is that cool?
Got it.
Yeah, he didn't expect much. Like my wife, he never expects me to go more than 5 minutes. Come on, no love for the self-burn. All right, well, thank you guys once again for coming to Comedy Night, or as I call it, the night where Ryan gets egos get stroked in 1,000 different ways. It is my own personal Freaky Friday where we have switched places, and you guys are forced to sit there and pretend that I'm funny for 15 minutes. And if you really play your cards right, there may be a tip in it for you. Spoiler alert, there will not be a tip. You may know. No, but Comedy Night is always my favorite night of the year. It's basically the night I work for. You guys make it happen. Kate makes it happen. Dan makes it happen. So I've always really loved it. But as you guys know, if you guys have ever talked to me before a show, I become bipolar the week of Comedy Night. Because the day of Comedy Night and everything leading up to it, I am a nervous wreck. I have never found one person in my entire life who thinks I'm funny. I am a miserable, miserable human being. I am just drinking glass after glass after glass of wine behind the bar. Caroline starts to get nervous about me. Wake up about a half hour before the show and just throw it all to the wind. No, I always get very nervous, and then poor guys who work with me the week afterwards, I'm like the funniest person in the whole damn world. I'm convinced I'm Kevin Hart, just like selling out huge stadiums, and like doing movies with Ice Cube and stuff. It's a lot of fun. But most of you guys might not know that when we did the first Comedy Night came about because I, after who knows how much wine at a staff meeting, told Kate Shelley, our events coordinator, that we need to do a stand-up comedy night. I'm like, oh yeah, everybody who's a club member loves to laugh. They all have really low thresholds for the stuff they think is funny. So we can just fill a room with them and let them go to town. And I, in the worst decision I have ever made, threw out the phrase that will haunt me for the rest of my life, I could even do 10 minutes. At that point, I did not really realize what getting on stage and telling jokes actually entails. You gotta think it out ahead of time. You can't just come up here and be like, well, you suck, and you suck. I know Dan does really good at that, but he's a little bit more professional than I am. I made the mistake of volunteering, and then a couple weeks before, we're at a staff meeting, and nobody had really given me any guidelines for what I was supposed to do at Comedy Night. So again, I, being an idiot, asked a question that didn't need to be asked, and I said, so how much can I curse? And really all I needed was, am I on basic cable? Am I on cable after about 10 o'clock? Or am I on, HBO premium cable like anything goes? You can tell by the fact that I am wearing pants right now that we are not on HBO. Yeah, that would be an even much shorter show. See, all right, you guys are picking this up. I appreciate it. Making me feel real good about myself. So I asked for permission to curse, which is a problem. As they say, always beg for forgiveness instead of asking for permission. And I was told that I was going to need to write out all of my jokes ahead of time and submit them for approval. So I sat down at Microsoft Word and started to type things out. In case you have ever wondered how to make yourself not feel very funny at all, try typing jokes into Microsoft Word. Because you will get about halfway through and you'll be like, so what's the formatting here? Like, do I bold my lines? Do I put them in italics? Because there's no template for that. There's no little paperclip that shows up and says, hey, you're writing stand-up comedy. Would you like to be funny? Follow this template. No guidance. So after about 10 minutes of being frustrated, I just put it all in Comic Sans and called it a day. And then first night of the first comedy night comes and Dan shows up, and I have done a lot of theater in my life, so I know a lot of actors. I do not know any comedians. And when you talk to actors, actors are not real people. You don't actually communicate with actors the way you talk with normal human beings. So I have no idea how I'm supposed to talk to a comic. do we just tell knock-knock jokes like at the beginning? Like, do I try to make him laugh, or will that be too desperate? Do I have to dial it back? So I'm like a nervous wreck, and all he's done is said hello, because he's a normal human being. And I apparently can't even handle this. So he and I meet, and he asked me to test the sound system. And again, I can't think of anything funny to save my life. So I come up here and I'm like, testes, 1, 2, 3, testes. At which point he looks at me and what he says aloud is, so you've never done this before, right? But in his mind, you can tell what he's thinking is, what the hell have I signed up for? And so Dan looks at me and he says, hey man, has anybody ever told you about the light in comedy? Again, let me just say, I mostly just know actors. Actors are ridiculous. Actors are always about the most touchy-feely bull crap they can ever tell you, especially right before you go on stage. I have been known to occasionally handle someone's face in my hands and just say, you're so beautiful, and I just want you to know that, and I want them all to know that, and I think you're great. Dan did not do that. Dan said, hey, has anybody ever told you about the light in comedy? And I'm like, yeah, man, I know all about this, because I don't. And yeah, the light, it's inside of you, and you just got to open yourself up and let everybody else see the light. No, you idiot! I'm going to show a flashlight when you've gone over 10 minutes. Stop, because we're running out of time. Oh yeah, no, I totally knew what you meant. I was joking. So I'm sitting back there with all of my jokes, of course, typed out in Comic Sans, and I'm super nervous. Dan opens, and Dan's first joke is about blowjobs. His second joke is about DUIs. And I just immediately tore up my jokes. And I was like, well, fuck it. I guess I can do whatever I want now. I was politely reminded afterwards that I am on the clock. So if this gets cut pretty quick, you guys will know why. So yeah, as Dan said, a lot has changed in the last year for both of us. I did finally get married, so you guys can quit asking me. It was seriously it wasn't a long engagement, because it was great and all, but I just got so tired of people asking me about my wedding. That's the best thing about being married is that when you say fiance in a story, everybody's immediately like, oh, so when's the day? How many people? What's your first song? When you say wife, nobody cares. When you say wife, it's move on, we get it, welcome to the club, nobody's happy. So that's really wonderful. By the way, hey babe. So yeah, and gosh, what else big has happened? So we recently joined a gym. Yeah, I know you guys are surprised. My bank canceled my credit card. This couldn't possibly be you. You got something at a health food store and then signed up for a gym member? Yeah. If I go to 4 different bars in an hour, they're like, well, yeah, that's... It's that fits our pattern of everything else you've done in this life. They don't expect me to show a lot of, ambition. So we recently joined the gym, and I should correct myself, we did not join your regular working class peon gym, like a 24-hour fitness or someplace where people lift weights. No, we joined the Napa Valley Health Spa, because my wife and I live in St. Helena, and so we get to pretend that we're rich. And at the Napa Valley Health Spa, it's a little different from a gym. At a gym, you've got a sauna. The Napa Valley Health Spa, you have your eucalyptus steam bath. Yeah, it kind of smells and feels like you've been smoking menthol cigarettes all day, which I guess is a thing that people want to do. After a workout, I'll just fire up a pack of Newports. Get that eucalyptus coming right through me. And then my favorite thing is that they've got, your mandatory sort of elliptical bikes, your little things that you pedal on. And because it's a gym for the wealthy, it's got these TVs, and the TVs show you different little scenes that you're riding through. But because this is Napa, all the scenes are places like Champagne and Alsace, so French wine-growing regions. How is this supposed to get my pulse up? I'm just on a Sunday, just kind of cruising through Loire. It's very nice. No, it's not going to help me work out. If we really wanted to get my heartbeat up, it would be Richmond or Watts. I could have to bike through Dan's neighborhood on that horse. And every 5 minutes you just hear a popping sound. Could be a car backfiring. you would get that bike up and out of the house. My other personal favorite thing about the health spa is it's right next door to a pizza joint. Seriously, this is a real thing. You can order pizza and they will deliver it to you at the health spa. Yeah, that's great because like I don't even go work out anymore. I just go sit by the pool and have somebody bring me pizza. Because it's extra 100 yards to walk to the place where they make the pizza. And I don't have to walk an extra 100 yards. I go to a gym now. Yeah. So basically what I'm trying to say is I'm just buying my clothes an extra size larger, so it looks like I've lost a little bit of size. Well, hey guys, thank you again. As I said earlier, and I do mean this, like this event doesn't happen without you guys. Would not have happened as number of times it did without you guys. I would not feel as good about myself tomorrow if it weren't for you guys. Big round of applause to Dan and to Kate and to everybody.